Ghostbusters.
Hi.
2016.
It was.
Fuck it. What did you think? You saw it. I still haven't.
So, yeah, welcome to the Whitey to White Guy show. That's Whitey. I'm joking.
We're good, what, year or so since that came out?
Yeah, I guess. Ghostbusters was solid 2016. We're balls deep 2017.
Yeah, halfway through.
In no way is this relevant. But I did see this movie recently. Now, I grew up loving Ghostbusters.
As sane people do.
Loved it. Wasn't aware that it was a comedy when I was a kid. But, you know, liked the movies, loved the cartoon.
Picking up or dropping off, you didn't know that was a comedy?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh, the cartoon.
The cartoons, too. The cartoons, which I also recently rewatched. And they definitely show their age, for sure.
You think so?
Even animation style and everything.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
But they're still enjoyable.
Yeah. A little darker than what, like, I have young girls, and I wouldn't let them necessarily watch that right off the bat right now, whereas my parents were like, here you go.
Yeah. Parents didn't get it.
You know, like, they talked about ghosts that killed people, and people died, and tragedy happened.
Cracker and I did a review of the episode where, who comes out of the closet? It was the copycat. The copycat would always come out. Nah, this was another guy. It was the boogeyman, but he had a big, huge, weird face and no pants. He had like goat legs.
Yeah, goat legs.
But that was like
devil eyes.
Legitimately scary for a 6-7-year-old kid.
Absolutely.
And like you said, much darker than you would think.
Much darker than Paw Patrol, I gotta tell you.
Yeah. So nowadays, everything is PC, and you can't.
Extremely.
You can't be entertaining.
My girl's favorite show is a show that you would be hard pressed to find any one racial group or any subset of people that we're supposed to be so careful about these days that would be offended.
You can't be funny.
You can't be funny. Like the height of comedy in that show is one of the little dogs he's always clumsy and always falls over things and things break. That's the height of folly.
Your girls are screwed in life, man.
I know.
They're screwed in life. So 2016.
2016. So this movie, Ghostbusters, goddamn. So there was a whole kerfluffle when this was coming out about
all-female cast.
All-female cast, and all of a sudden men are hating on it, and we're misogynists. Right. And the director, Paul Feig, right? Feig, was all over it, defending his work and how we're all ignorant, and
this is chauvinism and bigotry.
And ladies and gentlemen, this was probably the worst single movie I've seen in a long time. It was a bad movie.
And we just sucked a dick of down Periscope.
We did. That was a big long dong right there. But even that was enjoyable.
Where's this in comparison to McHale's Navy?
McHale's Navy is Shakespeare compared to this. McHale's Navy is Citizen Kane.
But
that's what pisses me off is that the argument came up that it was chauvinist, blah blah blah, and the actors are defending the movie based on those merits. And I'm right there with you until you actually see this movie.
Yeah.
And it's just dog shit of a movie. It's just a shit in a hat.
Like everybody else, you saw the trailers.
I saw the trailers, and I didn't hate them.
How does it compare to the trailers?
Way worse.
Yeah.
The trailers only showed like a lot of trailers, to be fair, but only showed the most compelling shots in the movie.
And
even those weren't great.
And everybody said that at the time. I said that if this is your A+,
that's it.
This is an F.
Right.
If this is your highlight reel.
Dude, you got ghosts that are clearly CGI, not even like
right.
The Ghostbusters movies, yes, they're dated, but the ghosts, especially Slimer in the beginning, I felt he was there. I interacted with him. Yeah. These are just things that are happening in the CGI world. There's no consequence.
If you watch it on an HD, it's going to look bad. But if you watch it on an box, 72, whatever it is.
Right.
720 something.
No, 480.
For what it's made for.
Yeah. It looked great.
It's not a bad film.
It holds up to a point.
The second one, when they're shooting at the pink building.
I know the painting. You see that was bad even for the time. That
was bad for the time. And the first one, when they're blowing the shit out of the courthouse and shit or whatever, it was like that. That would look fine for the 80s.
That looked fine. And we were in, and it wasn't distracting. It didn't take away. However, this CGI is much like the CGI that you see in the first Star Wars movies, the prequels that they put out, where you're just extreme. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the level of CGI you're getting here.
Yeah.
Is that you're extremely aware that this is CGI. There's no, I have no care about this. The backdrop is just the backdrop. It could have just happened out there for all it fucking mattered. You know, New York City be damned. There was no consequence. There was no nothing.
It's a good, very good point. South Park
You know?
makes a good point when they first did the thing. It was actually cut out.
Cardboard. Yeah, it was cardboard.
And so when it got destroyed, you actually destroyed something and you felt something. When it's CG, you just have no connection or concern to anything that's happening.
None.
There's a way to do it, and you know, way not to.
Sure.
This is like when you immerse yourself in CG. Who gives a shit?
Nothing. There were no practical special effects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was no pyro involved here.
Right.
It was just green screen, Melissa McCarthy running around, not being funny. Okay, God. So I grew up not knowing, particularly the original Ghostbusters movie. I was not aware that it was a comedy because I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I watch it now and I laugh because it's funny. They make jokes and, you know, especially timely humor for the times. Very 80s. This one, the height of the first joke that they lead off with is a queef joke. It's a joke about, like, it's the setup is, oh, was that a fart? Would you rather it came out the other end? That was the joke between her and Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig. That was the joke. That was the first joke. That's the one that's your opening pitch. It's pretty weak, but the running gag of the whole thing was Melissa McCarthy. They set up shop above a Chinese restaurant, and that she's always angry about the amount of wontons in her wonton soup.
Yeah.
Culminating with the last joke that the delivery guy, who's Indian, not Chinese, who's Indian, brings her upstairs, walks upstairs with the whole container basically just full of wontons and a little bit of soup. And the whole joke is, I just wanted a decent wonton to soup ratio here. That was the joke.
There's a bit in Hudson Hawk.
Okay.
I don't even remember if
Bruce Willis, etc., etc.
But the film as a whole didn't work. But there's a funny bit where he's a big cappuccino guy.
Okay.
And every time he just got out of prison, the start of the film.
Okay.
And every time he's about to sip out his cappuccino, something goes awry. He never gets to drink his cappuccino. There's a scene right at the beginning
Twinkies and Zombie
with Frank Stallone. And he's about Frank Stallone looks just like Sylvester.
Yeah, no, exactly like.
But he's about to sip out a cappuccino, and then it explodes in his hand, and he looks over, and the guy's got a pistol with a silencer in a bar. Nobody notices this, so it's like the film didn't work, but that was funny. It's a funny theme.
Sure.
Why is that hard? Like what is this?
You couldn't even nail one running joke.
But at least there it made sense because he just got out of prison, so he hadn't had a cappuccino in 10 years. Here, it's just like,
Right. Zombieland, Woody Harrelson's going around for his Twinkies. And at the very end.
I still haven't seen it.
What?
Put it on my list, man. So the point is,
anyways, you would like Zombieland.
One of the things, every time there's a female empowerment film, for some reason, they don't empower females.
Not at all.
It's all this, they're like, we're sick of the stereotypes that women are blah, blah, blah. And then that blah, blah, blah is exactly what they put in the film.
Right. That blah, blah, blah. And the
very stereotypes they should be combating is exactly what they make their characters into.
Can't, a woman lead, Wonder Woman to that point has done pretty well. But that the whole stereotype is that women can't carry a franchise. Women can't do a reboot, blah, blah, blah. Go to the nth degree.
But that's an excellent point. Wonder Woman's doing fine.
Wonder Woman's doing fine. Because why? Oh, because it's an okay script. Yes. I haven't seen it, but every review is it's an entertaining story. They have a good acting, decent amount of back and forth between the leads.
That's a good point,
chemistry.
Because when this came out, and they're like, men won't watch a film because it has a strong female lead. And everybody went, Sigourney Weaver and Aliens. Yeah. I'm blanking on it.
Whatever. Just insert X here. Underworld with what's her name?
Kate Beckinsale.
I know.
Kate Beckinsale. But I think we've had plenty.
Plenty.
And Underworld with Kate Beckinsale, dudes love that movie.
Love it.
Dudes like us love
There's
the movie.
plenty of dudes that love Buffy the Vampire
But that
Slayer.
so that was back in the day.
Plenty.
And so here we are with Wonder Woman, and so maybe it's a new thing. No, so there's like no argument for this.
No.
It's just you made a shitty movie, Paul.
Very shitty.
Fuck you, buddy.
And
don't put this on this when it's your bullshit.
You've kind of harkened back to it with your trailer reviews, and you and I even like when this movie was coming out, we were like, well, here's some easy treatments. When we heard the first rumblings of this not being a good flick,
oh my God.
Both you and I were like, okay, here's how we fix this. You bring in a little splash of the previous characters passing the torch.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ivan Reitman, Spangler, had just died. So why not, set it at his funeral, and you bring all of their kids in.
Or CG Ivan Reitman.
Whatever.
Something.
Yeah, right.
Passing of the torch.
Passing of the torch. And that's it. And then you come to Melissa McCarthy, who's come up with all this cool new gear, or whoever, and you're like, sweet, new gear.
We got to go recruit the new
We got to recruit this person and go fight these ghosts.
Yeah.
But again, with the Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 1 happens, and they acknowledge it. Ghostbusters 2 happens, and in the movie they acknowledge it. But there's no... What happened since the events in Ghostbusters 2?
Yeah.
Where are these ghosts coming from? Where are they coming from again? They did no effort to explain that.
In the film, they bring in Bill Murray and everybody from Canvas and Akron. So that was the big kick in the dick.
Do you want to talk about those?
No, but the point is, they're no longer... It's like, they're no longer Ghostbusters. There was no
They were not Ghostbusters, no.
But then in the trailer, they're like 20 years ago, the Ghostbusters said, but then the Ghostbusters aren't Ghostbusters anymore. So it's one thing if you pass the torch, you pay homage to the original Ghostbusters.
For 5 seconds. For 5 seconds.
Fuck you. No, there were no Ghostbusters. That didn't happen.
Here are the cameos. Ivan Reitman dead, obviously. Sigourney Weaver plays the straight-laced, at the very, very end, 6 seconds, of the Kristen Wiig's character's professor. 6 seconds, max, of Sigourney Weaver. You got Ernie Hudson twice, who is, what's her name? Leslie Jones, who was the only one I didn't have a gripe with. It was her uncle, who loaned them the car, the hearse, that became Ecto-1. Okay. Then you got Dan Aykroyd, plays a cab driver, who... They're trying to hitch a ride as events are unfolding, and he goes, they're like, take us over here. And he's like, I don't go Brooklyn, I don't go this, I ain't afraid no ghosts. And like that guy. And that was Dan Aykroyd's cameo. Bill Murray had the only role where it wasn't a cameo. He was a character, but he was a skeptic.
And then they kill him.
And then they kill him. They shove him out a fucking window.
Why would there... Why?
And Bill Murray dies horribly by falling 30 feet to his death.
The giant fuck
That's not funny.
What motivated the giant
Where was the funny thing? I get right there. They were supposed to be... This is supposed to be funny. But what was funny about a guy dying horribly?
But if you're going to take something that is beloved...
Right.
Obviously, it doesn't belong to dudes, but it was dudes.
No, right.
Girls growing up didn't give a flying fuck about Ghostbusters.
For a large part, no.
So
maybe they're like Janine, the secretary. Maybe, but that was it.
If you're going to remake it, feel free to remake it, but don't give a big fuck you to your core audience.
Yes.
And then you're making it for women who don't give a shit. Right. You have to win those women over,
which they didn't do.
Again,
clearly, based on box office returns.
And then they tried to lie and say they did. It's like, no, you didn't. Look at your numbers.
No, numbers did not come in. Guys, I mean, indicative of what not to do with a reboot. Indicative of how not to respond to what's every 5 minutes that's going on in the media. You don't have to.
But it's
maybe you could have just taken. I mean, we're just two dudes literally in a fucking cornfield. And we came up with way better, way to attack this movie.
But therein lies the problem. The people making this hate men.
But why?
So then you get into conspiracy theory. It's like, oh, it was just a fuck you to dudes. Why spend tens of millions of dollars doing it?
Yeah, right.
Why waste everybody's time?
Right.
And is Paul Feig and the people, and then they had a picture of it's all women on the writers and the crew and stuff. Oh. So it was
that's what you have to offer, and this is going to be your flagship. So the whole point is you're trying to make your case for women being funny.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And in doing so, made a case for women aren't funny.
You just you gave the other side a howitzer.
Yes.
Never mind the ammunition, the howitzer. This is the A-bomb of our. You want to be funny, okay? Sarah Silverman, I get a chuckle out of you occasionally. This actress, that actress, sure, you're fine. And I know women can be funny. They have been before. But why?
But that's an interesting thing because they're arguing an argument that nobody's arguing against them.
Nobody's arguing.
They're like, they don't think women can be funny. It's like, I'll give you 10 right now.
Yeah.
Like Sarah Silverman.
Shit, man, Meryl Streep's made me laugh more than once.
God. Fuck, what was that movie?
What?
Something about azaleas or something? Steel Magnolias. Steel Magnolias.
It has moments. I didn't hate that movie.
So women have been funny before. All the women in that film have been funny. Like
Lucille Ball carried the 50s.
Fucking hell!
Come on.
So it's like they're arguing an argument that
Barbara Eden?
Nobody's arguing. It's like, you're wrong. It's like, I didn't say I was right.
We just said it looked like a shit movie. It's
such a hard-on for being victims when they're not. There's no victims. And so you create this psychosis where you think you're a victim out of thin air, and then you start yelling at people who weren't against you.
Yeah, I was actually gonna go see it.
Yeah,
I was excited for it. I was like, okay, this could be cool.
Some good actresses, and then
Melissa McCarthy, I didn't hate. Kristen Wiig, I didn't hate.
Wiig's been, she's been in a bunch of funny stuff.
Yeah,
she was in Paul. I think that was her.
She was kind of funny in Knocked Up. She played the one executive next to goddammit, Ellen Tudyk, who I love. Knight's Tale.
Yeah.
Or Tudyk.
She had a brief role in that movie where dude dies and comes back and he sees ghosts now and Greg Kinnear's in it. Ricky Gervais. Something about ghosts. The ghost town.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Ricky Gervais is the protagonist.
But she shows up very briefly. And it's funny.
Okay.
And it was fine. It's like, okay. So where's what's the fucking motivation on any of this?
I don't know.
But here's what I'm thinking. And maybe I don't think I'm off the mark. There's old traditional America.
Okay.
And there's a push for a new America.
So not this.
Not this. And dudes were the big thing for old tradition. You know, we fought in the wars. You go back to the 50s and 60s, everything was, Westerns and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a hatred for that. There's a hatred for old traditional America. And they're trying to create a new America. Here's the problem. The liberals, you fucking libs, are trying to create a neo-America, if you will. A more multicultural, diverse, women, 50-50, all that stuff. The problem is what they're coming up with sucks so bad. And old America was so kick-ass.
It was pretty good.
Yes, it had its flaws, but it was really badass country.
Wouldn't you rather have June Colorado?
But it's like it's communism. They're trying to turn us into a communist state where everything's 50-50, and it doesn't work and this is a part of that because it's like comedians, dudes.
Yeah.
Have to go out there and fight and claw and nail to be good comedians. And listen to Patton Oswalt. He spent years putting his shit together. All of them. Louis C.K., everybody. Bill Burr.
Real quick, Patton Oswalt's stories about him going along with comedy magicians.
Yes, that was brilliant.
But it was
the sad old magician.
And the sad old magician.
That was good. But then these women come along and you just hand it to them. And they didn't have to work for it. They just
had to prove that they could hold their own.
And so you don't have to fight. It's like this country came from blood, sweat, and tears for centuries.
Yeah.
And then you just hand it to somebody who's not qualified, who's just not as good. And it's a big fucking queef.
Oh.
So it's like...
Nice way to bring that back around.
So it's like this is that attempt. That's part of why it failed. The hatred of traditional America is so engulfed the Paul Feigs and the liberals that they couldn't not have a big fuck you to the core audience But then but then you want it to work. You're insane.
Yeah.
You want to be. This is what's going on. This is a political video we should do.
Yeah.
It's people who want to both be liberals, want to be accepted into something,
Okay.
and destroy it simultaneously. And I'm not making up. You have, Muslims. You need to accept us. We're not all terrorists. Boom. Like, you're either trying to destroy us or trying to be accepted by us. Hey, both. And people are trying to both destroy traditional America and be accepted. Like, these are female comedians. They can be funny. They okay, let's give them a shot. Fuck you, men.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you trying to be accepted by us or are you trying to hate us?
Goes both ways. So that
Pick
sword,
one.
you want acceptance for this group or that group.
Yes,
but when they're not willing to play by the rules or play by anything even resembling what we've agreed upon is how
you want to hate
go.
somebody and you're selling them a product at the same time, and it can't work.
Yeah.
You can't sell hatred to people, and they're just so happy to gobble it up.
Oh, num.
It's not work. So what now?
So fucking glad I didn't see it in the theaters. That's all I gotta say.
And then after so many financial loss, CNN's losing the nick at night, but they keep double down and keep pushing it. It's like
when CNN loses to Charlie Rose.
Holy fuck. But it's everything, you know. And then Wonder Woman comes out, and nobody seems to be pissed off at that. And there's a female lead, and there you go. Why?
Strong
Because it wasn't a fuck
lead.
you to men. It wasn't a fuck you. It was let's go women without the fuck you to men.
Right. And
it
by the way, we're going to bring along Chris Pine.
Here's Chris Pine.
Here's Chris Pine.
I was watching the trailer for that. I haven't seen it, of course. But I was like, it looks like it could be fun. Chris Pine seems like it could be
they
fun.
knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
They did fine.
But it wasn't, it was like, it's tired because it was World War I. It wasn't the Nazis.
Yeah.
But let's go after Germany.
Okay.
Again. We've done this. But the story in itself looks like it could be fun. Okay. You made it told a fun story. And you didn't hate everybody in the process. You just told a fun story.
And you got to unplug your brain for maybe an hour 45. You know?
But here it's like they're trying to accept us as comedians. I hate you. It's by our hatred. So that's my rant.
That's your rant.
Fucking hell.
In a cornfield.
For a guy who hasn't seen the film, but I just can't, man.
You don't need to. I just gave it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I can go into the finer details of the plot, but you don't need it. You don't need it. It was just a dog shit movie, poorly shot.
Then they made the bad guy.
No jokes.
Make the villain a female as well, and have him go after
I'd
the
be cool with that. And they had, and the one man, the biggest fu to men. Real quick, I know we're running out of time, but the biggest fu to men.
I can't even tell.
Was a Hemsworth brother.
Yes.
They make him so stupid.
But Janine never was.
Janine never was.
She was the rational mind of the whole crew.
She was the backbone.
Yeah.
And you make
at no point
a floppy dick of a human being as your secretary, and you keep him on.
But in the first one, Janine was
feisty.
But she held her own. Yeah. She was what they're purporting that they're making. It's a bunch of strong, independent women. That's what Janine was. And then the second one, it was that little
Dana Barrett was.
Yeah.
It's Sigourney Weaver's character.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
She was
more strong-willed than Bill Murray.
Right.
So it's like there was never any anti-women hatred thing going on. Yeah. And then you make a big deal like, fuck you for hating women. It's like nobody did. No. What do you
Maybe a few guys did in the beginning, a few trolls, but then they jumped on the troll thing with completely ignoring the fact that this is the shit. That was the other part.
Yeah.
It's like,
but Red Letter Media did a great job on their Mr. Science Guy thing where they crunched the data on the negative comments. And
the most negatively commented.
All and they were like, out of 1 million people who left a comment.
Okay.
A fraction of 1%, or 1 million people, 1 million views, a fraction of 1% even commented.
Oh,
and then out of those comments, a fraction of 1% were negative.
Right.
So out of the whole, you're talking about 99.9% of people didn't leave a negative comment. So out of this less than 0.1%, or would that be 100th of a percent, you created this big, huge thing that just wasn't there.
Right.
And then deflated your whole fucking movie that's never had a chance in the first place. Fucking hell. So we're coming up on half an hour.
on a movie that he
no
didn't
one
watch.
gives a shit about.
No, it came out a while ago.
But I feel better. I feel better. I got that off my chest.
Well, I had to just tell you all about, because you had a very incomplete story about what the movie actually was and what actually happened. And having never seen it, how could you? Man, oh man.
But I was right for not seeing it. I'm a better.
What sucks is that you were right in 2015 when we saw the first trailers.
Yeah, my God.
Or whatever.
I was right when Cracker first told me about it. He's like,
yeah.
Guess what? They're
Then you
making
told
a
me.
Ghostbusters movie. I'm
And
like,
at first I was
like it's all chicks. I'm like,
oh.
because if again,
But even then, I was like, all right.
if you add a couple women, if 50 fits something,
right?
Hey, I would have been excited.
Yeah.
They fucked it up.
And we fucked it up by going 25 minutes.
25 minutes in. So this is that's our final closure, our catharsis.
Yeah.
On Ghostbusters 2016.
We could finally bury Ghostbusters.
Yes, it is dead.
Bury it. It's dead. We beat it.
I say just leave it out and let it ride. But if you want to do it some justice and bury it, fuck you.
If you want to defend it, please. There's the comment section.
Yeah, let us know.
Tell me that something I'm missing, but.
So that's it for here. I'm Whitey. This is Joker. This is Whitey White Guy Show. Thank you for watching, both of you who will. Roger, it's probably you.
Yeah,
Cracker.
right.
Thanks, guys.
And?
Yeah. Good journey. Oh, enjoy those fucking...
No, hold on. Just give it a second. Just give it a second.
Oh, yeah.
Let that be your new screensaver.
Take that in.
It's not bad.
That's good wind turbine. Oh, yeah.
Some good birds in the background. Not bad.
But on the negative side, go solar power. Fuck wind power, man. Cheers.
Bye.